Okay, testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Is anybody out there? Let me know in the comments if you can see me here. Let's see. Yes. Yes. Today will be a fun one. Today's show is a bit of a tester, trying out some software. I have a topic for today, but actually, if there's anyone out there, I couldn't help myself. I'm testing a beta application for Ecamm Live they just released, which is a horrible idea to do. You should never do this. I don't know if anyone can even see me right now. So if you can see me right now, please let me know in the chat. Well, you can. Good. Okay. Now you see. So heads up. If we don't get any really good information questions today, I'm going to delete this stream. This stream is testing a brand new thing that just came out, which I'll tell you about if you're interested in the software I use for streaming. So I just couldn't help myself. You should never do this. You should never test. You should never test anything beta for any reason when you're doing something, especially if you're doing something professionally. Obviously, I do treat this professionally, but I couldn't help myself. I wanted to try this out today. So we're going to have fun. We're going to try a few things out. And we'll do some Q&A as well. I had a topic for today, but that might go to the wayside until next week. So basically, let me know, please, if you can see me as normal. Is everything as normal on YouTube? And if you're friends with me on my Facebook page, can you see me live on Facebook as well? Are there any problems? Let me know as we go along. Because like I said, this is a beta application. And I'll tell you why it's such a cool thing in a few minutes. I'll go through the release notes with you. And I'll tell you why this is relevant to musicians as well, because you might be wondering why I'm talking about this. But the thing with this update is supposedly we can now go live to multiple places without paying for another service. I used to pay for, and I still do, pay for Restream. I do like Restream. Actually, I did a couple of videos for them as well, and I do like what they do. And they do some things that the other companies don't do. Okay? But Ecamm now is doing their own kind of Restream feature. So that's why this is. And this is a beta. So I'm just going to jump over to my phone and see what I can see here. So on YouTube, yes, I do see the chat on YouTube as normal. Everything looks good. I can see on my Ecamm screen that Patsy Smith is on Facebook. So Patsy Smith, you need to click through and watch on YouTube, not on Facebook. Unless you're just testing it out on Facebook, of course. And if you can't read the chat on Facebook, that's good to know. I was told that all the chats would be condensed into one, but maybe that's not happening yet. Again, I'm sure there'll be bugs with this today. We might even lose the stream completely. So if we do, I'll just come back normally. But anyway, let's say hi to our friends, and I'll go through what's new with this update. So Patty Smith is here, and as you can see, the little F there means she's on Facebook, which is cool. And David's here, and that little YouTube thing means he's on YouTube. So that's cool. This is really exciting. If you're a musician and you want to get into live streaming, this could be a really cool feature. Or it might not be. We'll find out today, maybe, if this could be a useful thing for us. Rosin says, I can say, hi, Rosin, you can see me? That's good news. And David says, seems to be normal. And Jim says, hello from a hot Vermont. Yes, very hot here too, Jim. Everywhere's hot lately. You know, I played on the beach. If you want me to, I'll tell you about my gig on the beach on Saturday. That was something a bit different. And David says, looks good over here. So David, on Facebook, can you see the chat? Like the chat from YouTube? What can you actually see? I don't think that you can see, if you're on YouTube, I don't think you can see the Facebook comments. And if you're on Facebook, I don't think you can see the YouTube comments, right? You only see the comments from your one your one location. So I have to share the comments on the screen, and if I do, then you're going to see them anyway because I'm going to flash them up on the screen. But well, let's just test it out anyway. Let me find the release notes for this update and tell you exactly what they've done here as well. So Ecamm Live Beta 4 release. They've been talking about this for months. And I believe there are some new features as well, aside from the restreaming feature. I used to use the restreaming feature. The problem with it was, for me, that it caused me a lot of problems when I used to use it. When I was doing the regular Sunday shows, I was using Restream a lot to try to get more exposure, right, from different places. And the problem with that was, I remember I couldn't reply. That's it. I couldn't reply on Ecamm screen. So where I look on Ecamm now, it says add a comment, YouTube. So there we go. I can post a comment now straight to YouTube. So if everyone does watch on YouTube, we can all see the comments and I can reply to them very easily. I couldn't do that before. I had to use a different web browser to reply to comments. The only thing is, if people are watching on Facebook, they won't be a part of the chat. They'll only see what I put up on the screen. And I think I'll see their comments, but they won't see the comments and replies from YouTube. But as long as I put all the comments up on the screen like before, that should be fine. And what I think I'll do is just encourage people to move over to the YouTube channel. I believe YouTube is a high quality stream anyway, so it's better for people to watch on YouTube. But I just like this idea now that I can stream to Facebook and YouTube and some other places as well. So if I do another concert soon, I think it'd be really beneficial to have it going out to Facebook as well. That'd be cool. Doc, how you doing? Rosanna, how you doing? Stephen, how you doing? Good to see you. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense, David, because on my screen it says add a comment YouTube. So that's YouTube only. So I'm going to bring this up on the screen because I know some friends here are interested in this that do live streaming. And I think this also has the multi-camera recording, which is going to make my life so much easier for my videos as well. But let's see. I'm going to share the screen here. You know, it's really cool. There's been a few software updates teased lately as well from music companies too that are really big. There's a big version of the Quad Cortex coming out, 2.0. That's going to be a big release. And why am I pointing like this? It's going to be a big release. And this is going to be a big release for Ecamm Live. It's really good. They're really moving up in the world of the streaming platforms now. And there was another one I heard about as well. So there's some really good things happening with software, which these days obviously is a big deal, right? So anyway, here's the screen. I'm hoping there'll be no glitches today because obviously it's a beta, but I feel like they've tested it well. We'll find out. Philip Watson, how you doing? It's been so long, my friend. How are you doing? It's good to see you here. So if you just joined us, I'm going to just go through some new features that are added to the software that I use, not only to go live to perform, and not only to go live to do these Q&As, but also go live, to not go live, but make my videos. I use this software to make my videos. And last week when I made a video, it was really great because I was able to record the video very quickly, get the information out there, and I only made one edit because I could do it all in real time. So if you want to get into YouTube, this is also a great way to do it as well, to save you time. When I started doing YouTube videos, it was a pain in the butt because I had to film video. They were large files. I had to edit them down, import them, sync audio. With this Ecamm software, I know I sound like a salesperson. Look, I pay for this software because I think it's really great. It saves me a lot of time. You can potentially just get a decent Mac, a decent camera, and just knock out a video and get it uploaded. And that's a really important thing when you're live streaming. Cheers. So good to see you, Philip. Now, yeah, it's been a long time. So this is it, version 4. Let's just go through this because I haven't even read this myself. And I want to say again, if you ever do a gig or something, never put beta software on if you're doing a gig, right? If the worst comes to worst today, if we lose this stream, something goes wrong, I can just delete it and we can meet back here next time. But if you're doing a gig, I would never do this. Say someone was hiring me right now to perform for a virtual concert. I did a few of those in the lockdown. I would never have installed the beta. I would have stayed on the stable release, which has been very stable for me for a long time. And even stable releases can have issues, of course, right? And likewise, if you've got something like a Quad Cortex and they release a brand new update, do not install it the day of the gig. Did you see my stream a few weeks ago with JBL? I just installed a new update on the Rodecaster Pro and it broke my stream audio. I had to fix the audio during the stream and I got very flustered having to do that. So always test everything and never install betas. Having said that, I couldn't wait for this one. And, if worst come to worst, we'll just take it down. So what's new in version 4? And this is beta 3, so they've done a bit of testing already. So we've got creating and scheduling a live video has been redesigned. It has. I saw that as I set it up. You have a nicer screen, a nicer interface, and you can add the multiple streams that you want. It also tells you how much speed you need in order to do these streams. So broadcasts are now created in the new Create broadcast window. Yeah, that looked very nice. Multi-streaming and scheduling up to 10 destinations for the Pro only. So I have the Pro account. This is another reason to get the Pro account now. You can stream up to 10 places, but you do need the speed to do it. So if you have a slow connection, you won't be able to broadcast to the 10 places. I have a decent connection. I don't have fiber. I have we have like 500 down, but only 25 up. So I don't think I could do the 10. I think doing this to YouTube and Facebook is costing me about 8 meg, 10 meg. So I could probably do 5 places, maybe 4 places safely. A new list of all scheduled broadcasts includes the broadcast title, thumbnail, and platform. That's nice. So you can manage the multi-streaming much easier than you used to. It used to be just a little text box in the corner. It was really not very good before. Destinations managed in the new destination app preferences. Okay. So you can save destinations for future use. Multiple stream key destinations can be added. That's good. Adds a built-in internet speed test to test the stream section of the app preferences. Requires Monterey or newer. So that's cool. You can do a speed test from the app. So it's more pro there. You can test things better. Adds a mode menu to the main window with switches for recording and virtual camera. Add support for scheduling LinkedIn broadcasts. So you can now broadcast on LinkedIn. I don't do that, but there we go. Adds an option to create chapter markers on the recording menu. Saved as a text file. Not sure what that is. Adds digital blur and sepia tone effects to the camera options. Oh, okay. Should we try that? Let me try that quickly. Why not? So I should have new options here for effects. Let me see. Yes, okay. So this is, we always had mirror, which is this one. It just mirrors the image. We had black and white before, which I used for a stream once, and people asked me what was wrong with my camera. This is sepia. So that's a new one. Sepia is new. That's nice. I like that. I like that more than the black and white, actually. Look, that's a cool look. And there's now a blur effect. Let's try this out in real time. Oh, okay. That just gives me a headache. Now this is really cool, because now when you have a guest on, you can say, "Here's today's special guest. Who is it? Who's the guest today? Can you guess who it is?" And then you can fade them in, and they can guess who it is. So that's nice. I like that. That's very cool. All right. What else is new here? Sending video to Blackmagic devices. I don't have those. Interview mode now supports 1080p video resolution with guests. That's good. So what did it support before? Was it only 720? Have they raised that or lowered it? I don't understand. I imagine they've raised it. I didn't even know that before. So that's good if the quality's improved. Record only mode will now begin after a 3-second countdown. That's nice. So when you record now, you get the 3 seconds and then you begin. So you haven't got to even edit that before you post your video. That's nice. Record only mode will now record using a higher bit. Yes, excellent. Because when I do record only, the video is not as high quality as it is if you, in the old days, I used to use QuickTime and the files were massive, like gigs and gigs and gigs and gigabytes. But they were very high quality. And I did notice when I switched to Ecamm, although it's much easier to make your pre-recorded videos, the quality was not as sharp. So if they've raised the quality, anything at all, that's great. I'm really happy about that. I've been hoping that they would do that. It'd be interesting to test that out soon on a recorded video. So camera overlays assigned to a placeholder interview guest will no longer show a silhouette image. Okay, great. Because when someone left the chat live before, you'd have this weird kind of, well, not weird, but this silhouette. So you have this like, lady with long hair on the screen, and it's like, well, why is this placeholder there? Why isn't it just like nothing? When they go, why doesn't it just disappear and revert back to you? So that makes a lot more sense, I think. Camera overlays assigned to a missing camera will now display a message to select the camera. That's cool. Adds a new remote control section to the app preferences to manage which third-party apps can control Ecamm Live. Okay. An option to mirror the video monitor feature. That's nice. So if you have a video monitor, which you use a separate screen to monitor your feed, you can mirror that. Now, I don't have one of those. Countdown overlays now include an option to count down to a time on the current day. Okay. Adds a calendar picker to the countdown overlay settings. Calendar picker. Okay. Comments in the comments and reactions window can now be dragged to other apps. Oh, or dragged into the guest chat window. That's nice. That's nice. So I think what that means is if I open my notes application here, which I'll just do, you can't see this, but I'm just going to drag a comment in. Yes, okay. So you can basically open a note or a Word document and just, if you've got some questions come in that you need to address later, I used to star them. I stole that idea from Peter Gregg's channel. He would star comments so we can come back to them. we often ask you to put like a Q there so we know it's a question. But now I can actually have a note open on my other display or just on my main display, and I can just grab a comment and throw it in there. And then what that means is that later on, actually, let me just try that. It's not working now. Hang on. There we go. So you can literally grab the text, drag it in, and it puts it on there. So then you can have your list of questions for later on. That's a very useful feature. I'm glad they did that. And we can also, like if we get a link or something to visit later on, we can save that link in a note and then revisit it later or paste it into the chat later. That's really cool. Very nice little idea. Can you see I'm excited? See, this kind of stuff makes me excited because it's free and it's making my life better. It's a free update to something I already own. It's not a product that I've purchased and don't like and have to talk, well, don't have to talk about it, but it's not like a product where I'm like, do I like this or not? How do I say that in a respectful way that helps the viewer make a purchasing decision? That stuff lately has been driving me a bit crazy. It's like, should I even talk about this? You know, like this camera. Should I talk about this camera? Like, let's say I bought it and it doesn't work for me. Should I tell you that, or should I just return it or sell it? You see, that those kind of videos are not fun. But a video about something like this, where they're just making my thing I already own better, is awesome. So that's why I'm in a good mood today. You can tell, right? So dragged in as text. That's great. Really, really cool. Comments deleted by moderators. Okay, so the moderator here is Rosanna. Okay, so thanks for moderating, Rosanna. So if she now deletes a comment, like one of these bots, it will now show as deleted in Ecamm Live's comments and reactions and the interview guest comment pane. Okay, good. Because before, if there's a bot in the chat and Rosanna deletes that for me, I will still see it on my screen on Ecamm. So now that will reflect the fact it's being deleted. Now I can still log into YouTube later and see what that was, by the way. I did that a few weeks ago. I had some fun with that. But it won't distract me while I'm live, which is nice. Adds a new button in the main window to hide the main window controls. Oh, that's nice. So you see the screen easier. Pressing the function key will now bring the main window controls back again. Okay, so you can get rid of them and bring them back. New widget overlays will now default to 720/30. I think some people were bringing those in and they were set to the wrong size. So now it's going to be like a default setting for them. Includes a new version of Elgato Stream Deck plugin with a new key to add chapter markers. Oh, a chapter marker. So I guess as you're recording, you hit a button and it will add a marker there so you can then edit the video easier? I'm just guessing. So right now my Stream Deck is not working because I didn't install the updated plugin. So if you're going to run this beta, you have to install the plugin for the Stream Deck. So my Stream Deck is not really working very well right now for that reason. Includes a new version of the Loop Deck plugin. So that's a different alternative to the Stream Deck that I don't have, but that's cool. Fix an issue where live demo mode could be low resolution. Okay, it's a bug fix. And fixes an issue where a widget overlay could stop after switching between profiles. Okay, so that's it. So if you've got Ecamm Live, you can download the beta app. You can actually run the beta alongside the main program and switch between them, which is a really nice feature. And any changes you make in either one will still be reflected in the other. So you can run both of them alongside. So that's what I'm doing here. I've still got the main stable app on my desktop, but I'm running today this new version. And I don't see it mentioning about the cameras here. But what I will say also is in the past when they've done these betas, they've added a lot of features over that beta time. So the main beta like this one is out with these main features, which obviously right now is the streaming aspect. And then what they did in previous releases is they added quite a lot of features on each beta version release of that one. So like 4.0 beta 3, 4.0 beta 4 might have some other features added in. They might be holding some features back. They might not be. But in the past, they added some features in throughout the beta process. So we might get even more than this stuff. And my fingers are crossed that we are going to. I think even just the restreaming alone is excellent because we don't have to pay now for Restream. And that was obviously another expense. We still can if we want certain features that Restream has, but we don't have to. And there's a lot of other little nice additions and tweaks here as well. But what I would really like to see is that ability to have two cameras rolling and then save both camera feeds. So when I do edit in Final Cut Pro, I can drag both cameras in and select them at will rather than be stuck with the combined feed that I have in the past. So I can make deeper edits as I edit a video. So that's the release. It's a cool thing. So I'll come back to the chat now, and I'll catch up and see what you've said. Mark's out. So Mark is on Facebook. I can see that because his Facebook icon is there. And I just think this is a cool thing to have, because if someone is on Facebook, on your Facebook page, and you go live, they're going to see. Facebook makes it very obvious that you've gone live, and then they might join in, and then they might convert over to your YouTube channel and subscribe to your YouTube channel. So I think this is a cool thing for that reason. And when I had to pay for it with the additional service, I wasn't sure about it back then. But the fact that it's now included in the plan, well, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you go live to YouTube and Facebook and maybe just put a banner up on the screen, or a header at the screen that says, if you're watching on a different platform to YouTube, please subscribe to the YouTube channel and watch on YouTube for the best experience. I think that would be a cool thing to do. Test and tune till it's smooth and clear. Audio blur. That would be a good thing to have, wouldn't it? To blur the audio so you can't hear what the guitar is, and then you bring it in. Yeah, I feel like Ecamm are more focused on the camera stuff, the visuals, than the audio. There's still not like deep audio settings in Ecamm Live, which hopefully we'll get in the future. I think they're going to bring that, but not until they've done all this. I think the multi-streaming is the most important thing to them right now, because the other platforms have it, right? So right now your camera feeds are baked in and you can't change it after the fact. Yeah, that's what I was just saying, Doc. So at the minute, if I record a video, obviously I turn off all the things like the info box that tells you when someone's subscribed. I turn all that off. I turn the logo off as well, because maybe I want the logo a different size or in a different place. So I just record the video pretty much. And if I've got the second camera rolling to see a guitar's fretboard, I might switch to that to get that angle. But then I usually edit that in Final Cut Pro. I'm very rarely will I just post the video straight up. I usually bring it in and top and tail it and add like a subscribe thing and check the audio levels and that kind of stuff, and then make some edits. So at the minute, that point where I've switched to the other camera is baked in. I thought they were going to add a feature here where it records both of the cameras, and then you can bring in the baked in stream and the two cameras. So if there's a point in the video where you were meant to switch to a different view and you didn't, you can then bring in that other video. Now, obviously, the only downside with this is it's going to be a huge tax on your computer. But now that Apple have released the M1 Max, and because Ecamm Live is only on Apple, the chances are a lot of users now are going to be using the M1s, because the M1s are very fast and they're very quiet. So they're ideal for live streaming. So I feel like now we've got these more powerful machines. They have the power now to do the multi-streaming and to do the multi-video recording. So I thought that was going to be in here. I don't see it on the screen. I don't know. Maybe it is in here. I don't know about it. Maybe they're going to save that for the next beta release, because I guess it's a good idea as well to release a beta with like one thing to test. So right now we're testing the restreaming, right? I shouldn't say that. That's a different brand. Right now we're testing the multi-location streaming. Maybe in the next beta, once they've said, yes, okay, that's good to go, then they'll add another feature like the multi-cameras. Or maybe that's going to be for another version. I don't know. I don't know. But I do think it's a very cool thing. And like I said, the good thing about that is it's a free update to an existing user. And if you're not a user of Ecamm, it's another reason to get it over the other platforms. I know when we were in lockdown, a lot of people started doing the streaming as I did. I know a lot of people were trying the free trial of this software, and there is a free trial, so you should try it, and then the beta you can try as well. But I know a lot of people used it, and when they first used it, there was many complaints that I had from friends of mine, like there's no multi-streaming, there's no there were several features that were not in here. When I started using this software when we locked down, it was really bare bones, in my opinion, especially compared to something like OBS. And OBS is the free competitor, which is on Windows and Mac. And it was kind of frustrating that people were having to pay for Ecamm Live because it was easier to use, but at the expense, pardon the pun, of not having all those advanced features that were with the free OBS software. Well, now they're adding those in, and they're adding in features that OBS doesn't have, and that's going to get them a lot more customers, obviously, because this multi-streaming thing, I don't think OBS has it, and at least it doesn't look as nice. It's not as easy to use, and the easy to useness of Ecamm Live is definitely why most people like it, because OBS is great and it is more advanced, but it looks more complicated and it is more complicated to use. All right. But yeah, aside from the multi-streaming, the only other thing that I can see that's new visually here is this. And oh, can you use this at the same time? Yeah. So that's kind of cool. This would be nice for a recorded video. I've seen people do things like this as they start the video. Hi, my name's Aaron Shop. Then again, you could just do that in the editor anyway, so maybe not. Can you combine multiple effects at once? You know, when I mirror myself, it just looks weird. No comments, please. I do like the sepia more than the black and white. The black and white to me looks a bit blue on my screen. It's kind of weird. And then the blur. I mean, the problem with the blur is if you put a slight blur on there, it just kind of makes me feel like I can't see properly, like I need to go to the optician. So I don't know why I would use that. I think just for a special guest to bring on, I might do this and say, can you guess who today's special guest is? Apart from that, I don't know. I'm sure there's a reason why they've added it. I'm sure someone will tell me why, or, you know, a good way to use that, what that is. But yeah, let me just try this one. Yeah, that's still working. Yeah, and let me jump over to my Facebook to see. Let me jump over to my Facebook to see if I can see myself on there. This is kind of exciting. Yeah, well, there's no one watching, but there we go. That's why I don't really want to pay for it, because I often found that no one was watching on Facebook, so I didn't want to pay to do that, and I would also mess up my chat as well on my main screen. So I'm not going to do that anymore, because now, as I said, now I can just have both running, which is really, really nice. I think most people who use Ecamm are going to start doing that, because you can, right? And it doesn't seem to have any issues. There doesn't seem to be any freezing or anything, right, on the stream. The stream is as normal, so we can just continue as normal, I think. And what I'll do is I will keep you updated with this software as I go. I'll let you know if I find any bugs, and I'll let you know if they release any new features in the future as well. I really hope they do that video feature. I really hope they do, but we'll see. All right. Doc says, I like Streamlabs OBS, but it's not perfect. My only issue is my video and audio can be out of sync. Yeah. You know, I can't tell you about this if you're into the video thing. This really blew my mind. This really blew my mind. I used to record the video with a DSLR and an Elgato cam link and an external microphone. And I never ever wanted to record the mic directly into the camera, which is what you should do, because then the audio is bang on in sync, because it's all analog and going straight in, right? Everything is perfectly lined up. I always wanted to record to the computer, despite the huge file sizes, in order to expedite the process of having to take the card out of the camera, put it in the computer, take the video out. So I always did it that way. And for the longest time, people told me for the longest time my video was out of sync with the audio. And it drove me crazy because I couldn't see it. Because when you're looking at yourself talking on a screen, if you're not used to that, it's kind of hard to see it out of sync. But people that made videos and were in the industry, and people that are not in the industry, were telling me that I was really out of sync, and it drove me crazy and I couldn't see it. So about a year ago, I used Ecamm Live. It's got this setting to delay the camera, and it's really, really useful. So I used an application that one of the Ecamm users actually created, and I figured out, let's see if it'll tell me here. Yeah, I figured out that I have a 5-frame delay, right? 5 frames. It's very small, but 5 frames. So I added this in the software, and so what happens now is when I'm live like now, I still see it out of sync. So I'm looking at the camera, so you see me, so you see my eyes. If I look at myself on the screen, which you shouldn't do when you're live, you should look at the lens. I can see, because I look at the screen, I can see it's out of sync now, right? Because I'm used to seeing that. But what I now see when I watch my videos back on YouTube after the fact, and when I'm editing videos, is that they're perfect. Well, they're as near to perfectly in sync as they can be, and that's 5 frames. And the funny thing now is when I go back and watch my old videos, even from like 2 years ago, they look horrendous. They are so out of sync. Now I can see it. And it's like that the whole thing, you know, when you can see something, when you can hear something, you can never unsee or unhear it. So now I really see it. So if I've got any advice for anyone watching this stream that's watching because of Ecamm Live or because they want to start making music videos, it's to get your video and audio in sync immediately. And Ecamm Live also lets you do this. They have this baked in to the software. And there are tools to help you identify what that frame delay will be. And I did use one, but with a Sony camera and an Elgato Cam Link, chances are 4 or 5 frames will get you where you need to be. So if you have the A7C like I do and an Elgato Cam Link, you can just set it to 5 frames and you will be in sync. It's really, really, really useful. I don't know if Streamlabs has that. The Rodecaster Pro has that feature built in, but it didn't work for me at all. The feature built into Ecamm works really well. And now my videos, I think, look so much better because there's no point having great video and great audio and spending all that time and money setting that up and then having it out of sync. And the reason I'm just saying this again and again and again is because I didn't see it. People told me I thought they were crazy. Now I see it. And if you've been watching my videos the last few days, you've watched a few of my videos, go back and watch one from a couple of years ago, and you'll be like, yeah, I can see it. It's really jarring. You know, it's a horrible, horrible thing. So that's another great reason to use Ecamm. I do wish that on the Ecamm monitor, everything was in sync while I'm talking as well, because sometimes I do look down at the screen and I think, oh, I'm out of sync. But it's just the preview window is not reflecting what's actually happening in real time. It'd be great if they could do that. I don't know if they can or not, but yeah, another reason to use it. So Doc, what are your thoughts on this? Are you going to move over? Are you running a Mac or a PC? You're currently using OBS. Are you going to switch over to Ecamm Live? That'd be some good information to know. I don't know if you can delay in Streamlabs. I don't know if you can delay the audio or not. So I hope you can. I don't see why you can't. The great thing about OBS is there's many ways to add like functionality and plugins and things. I'm sure someone's made a plugin that probably do it for you anyway. And by the way, I'm back on the Apollo, really enjoying the Apollo again. The Rodecaster Pro is on the floor. I'm probably going to box it up and leave it for a few months until I hear they've released some big updates for that. And if they do update it, I will make an updated video because today I was going to talk about should people make negative reviews and videos, and I might still talk about that today, although I might not have time to go into it today. But like with the Rodecaster Pro, great product. And I was thinking today, every product has a downside, right? Some of the products that I use at my shows now that I think are the best products ever made have some bugs, have some weird behavior that I could say that's a bad thing. That's a reason not to look at it. But that would be crazy because there's nothing that's perfect in this world, okay? But with the Rodecaster Pro, it's so frustrating because I love everything about it and I loved using it here. It did take up a bit too much space on my desk because I have a small desk, but I loved the sliders and the sounds and the pads and the touch screen. I loved all that stuff. But the fact that it had that latency when I was recording was really frustrating. And now because the Apollo Twin has such low latency, it's really nice. So I'm missing the sliders and everything, but I'm really enjoying having the high quality sound and low latency back. And I'm enjoying using the plugins again as well, because the plugins in the Apollo really are excellent. Really great. So Real Ting said not using the Nuix. So the new, he's saying this because I was raving about this yesterday to him, because the Nuix, let me just show it to you. Hang on. I got to find it. The problem with small gadgets is that you tend to lose them. No, this isn't it. This is the Fender one. So I got this one here. Has anyone tried this? This is the Fender Mustang Micro I got for my birthday. I love that blurry camera. So this is the Fender Mustang Micro. People rave about this. So what this is you plug it into your guitar and you plug your headphones in here. It charges up over USB-C and you can charge it while you're using it. And then it has no app or anything. It literally gives you your guitar sound with a nice big volume knob here. Very simple to use. And you basically select the amp type, the EQ type, the effect type, and there's a modify button. And that's it. So you're basically locked in. There's no app. There's nothing to tweak. You choose presets and you go. And it sounds very good. And I was going to make a video about this. It's a product that's loved by many people, and it works very well, and it's very convenient. And you know, it's something you just like take with you everywhere you go and use to audition guitars and things like that. But then last week I heard about this new product from NUX. Hang on, give me a second. I'm gonna go find it. Hang on. Of course, it was right behind me. So this is the NUX version that looks suspiciously similar. If you look at this, I mean, how many ways are you going to make a headphone amp, right? But this one does not have the big volume knob. This one has the selector in the middle. So you basically press that and it goes through presets that you've saved in the app. So this one has an app. It has a reset button there, a reset hole if you need to reset it. And the other side has mute, volume up, and volume down, which I believe the old version they had did not have. So these are, you know, you think these are very similar. They're actually very different. They're the same price. This one, the Fender, is plug and play. There's nothing to tweak. You choose and you go. This one by NUX is app controllable. And what he was saying is you can also connect a microphone. So this can actually, if you plug this in, if you connect this to your iPhone with a USB cable and put the headphones with an inline mic on it, you can actually stream to your phone with nothing else. So you can have your guitar with the effects from the app going through the stream, and you can talk into the microphone, you can mute the microphone, you can send backing tracks through it and all this kind of stuff. So this one blows away the Fender in the what's the word? Features department, right? And you can even, like with this one, the NUX, you can add your own IRs, you can move blocks around, you can stream with it, you can EQ the music that you play through it from the backing tracks. This thing is incredible on paper. This thing is, like I said, more basic plug and play for people that don't want to deal with any of that. Now you could just use the NUX and not tweak it. You could just use the presets that are built in, and basically it'll be the same device. Now the only thing with these two is, of course, I was going to make a comparison video, as some people have already done. But what I found is, and this is what I was going to talk about today, the Fender is nice and quiet, but I don't think the tones are as good as the NUX. But the Fender is a nice quiet device. The NUX, when I turn on the drive pedals and things and turn up the trebles, has this kind of whine, this like interference sound, which drives me crazy. And so I'm like, well, what does that mean for me? Like, how would I make this video? Like, I mean, you can tell me in the chat what I should do, because no one's mentioned this noise on this one. And of course, I never want to like say there's a noise if it's just this device or my apartment. But I went on some other videos and I could hear it in their videos as well. So that for me is a question. And then this one is quiet, but I don't like the tones as much. Now, before I got the NUX, I thought the Fender was a great option and I was going to recommend it to people. Now I really like the NUX so much more. But the fact that it has this noise on some of the presets, especially the high gain, I don't know. Now I don't know what to say about these products, you know? So you tell me in the chat what I should do. Like, should I review? Let's take this for example. The other reviewers that have reviewed this haven't mentioned this noise thing, right? Should I review this and say in the review, this thing is excellent on every level, but where I use it, there's a noise? and go into Logic and amplify that noise and show what that noise is, and just demonstrate like what my issue is with it, because no one else has mentioned it. Why don't other people mention it? Is it because they don't hear it? Is it because they don't care? Is it because for $100 you can overlook these things? Or is it down to me, if I'm going to talk about this, to tell you everything that I found with it? I mean, you tell me. I can't decide what to do. Of course, if I didn't like the thing at all, or if it kept like cutting out, I would just return it or sell it, or get rid of it basically. But when you like something and there's one little niggling thing, what do? I guess I'm going to answer my own question. I should make the video and I should say everything's great, but there is this noise thing, and that makes me question the whole thing. But why has no one else said it? That's like, why did no one else say about the Rodecaster Pro that it's got really bad latency in Logic? Why didn't they say that? Did they not test it? I don't know. And then this one, yeah. So this one, I don't like the tones as much, and you can't then change them, but it's very quiet and very simple to use. I think that's why they sell a lot of these. I think this is why it's a good product, a great gift for someone, because it might not be the best sounding thing in the world, and it's $100. But I just think when you get noise on stuff, it's like, I don't know, it can be a real deal breaker for me personally. But you tell me in the chat is that something you could overlook if you had like some noise in something. Like, can you overlook that, or is that for you? Is that like a big no? I don't know. That wasn't on today's schedule, but I just threw it in there because I'm still processing how to do some of these videos. I think for a long time I didn't want to make a video if there was anything like really, if it's something that I wasn't going to use myself or was just like negative. No, I just didn't make the video. I didn't see a point in making the review and basically ending the review with, I don't like this, I wouldn't buy it, and I don't recommend it. I find that incredibly negative to do that. Of course, I could also upset people, and if I say the wrong thing, I've got another story about this I could tell you from last week, where if I'd made a video about this thing that I tried, I could have like really damaged the company because it wasn't true, right? It was, or no, not the company. I could have damaged the user because they could have done some work on their pickups that they shouldn't have done. So you got to be very careful with what you say. You never want to say something and you make a mistake, because that's not fair. I mean, obviously it could not only could get you in trouble, but it's also not fair to bring down a company by saying the wrong thing. But at the same time, like I said in the beginning, no product is perfect. So every product's going to have like that point you could make about it. I could do it with absolutely anything. I could do it about Ecamm Live. I could do it about my electric guitar, my acoustic guitar, the pedals that I use, my amp that I use, my PA that I use, that I've used for years. There's always that thing, but a lot of videos I've noticed just don't mention these things. And I almost think there could be like a new format for reviews where you say, I think Phil McKnight does this too, where he basically says, look, this is not my personal feelings about this. This is a fact. This is the battery life. This is the noise ratio. This is what it sounds like at idle volume. This is what the clean sounds like. This is what the distortion sounds like. Now here's a demo, and now here's what I personally liked and what I personally didn't like. And then maybe you could also then finish that video with, would I buy this? Yes or no? And just say, no, I wouldn't buy it as it is today. Something a bit more, so many videos now I watch to get ideas for myself. If I got a new product, I'll watch some other videos, of course, as I'm waiting for the product to come. And so many times I'm just like, well, it sounds great. I can't wait to use it. And then I get it and I find something, or I don't know. So it'd be good to know what you think in the chat, especially we've got some YouTubers here as well. I got a PreSonus mixer after selling my RME. Now I sent the PreSonus back and repurchased an RME. The TotalMix software is a dream to work with. You see, I tried the RME, the baby interface, and I hated the TotalMix software because that's not what I'm into. I'm into very basic hands-on stuff. I found it way too complicated for me. But you're a producer, so it makes sense that it works for you. That's why I like the Rodecaster Pro. It just had the big sliders on it, and you could just move one up, move one down. It was cool. But then it didn't have the low latency. So all this stuff is a trade-off, right? The Apollo Twin is a nice in-between, because I can have the mixer over on the side screen on my laptop over here. In fact, I have that right now. I can show it to you. So on my left screen here, this is what I'm looking at right now. I have the mixer, right? So I can see my level going in. I can mute. I can add effects. I can add things. It looks very old school and it's nice. Now you do have a kind of a matrix as well where you can route audio, but I just found for me again the Total Mix one just looked really. It looks very complicated, overly complicated to me. But then again, maybe it was better. Maybe it was better in a way because it has more functionality. It all depends what you need and what you want, right? So Realting has the older Mighty plug and quite like it for the £30 I paid for it, considering it was less than a tenth of what I paid for the Waza Air headphones, which I also love. You see, I think the Waza Air are a great product. Now, when I reviewed the Waza Air, I found a problem with them. I found the problem of when you sit still playing the guitar, the sound drifts. Like as you turn your head, the sound is supposed to go with you, right? Like you're in front of a real amplifier. And I discovered that it would drift. The accelerometer would drift by itself. So I put that in the video and it's the same thing. I felt kind of bad. Like, am I doing something wrong? Will it be fixed next week with a firmware update? Because I've had that as well, where the next day a firmware release has fixed something. So I felt bad saying that. But as far as I know, that's still an issue. Now, I think most people just turn that feature off and don't use it. The actual product is still an excellent product. They're very comfortable. They sound very good. They're very easy to use. And I feel like if that one feature doesn't work for some people, that can be overlooked. I don't see that as a deal breaker. But for me, a device that's meant to give you audio of your guitar and has interference, I don't think I can recommend that to people. And then you've got the argument of, well, it's only $130. Yeah, but why not? See, I would rather take that $130 and put it into something else in a few months' time that will be of a higher quality and maybe even be suitable for gigs and things like that. Because the other problem that I see a lot of people talk about with these kind of products is what the heck do you do when the battery's gone? Like once your battery in this is dead, you have to buy a whole new one. So I don't really have an issue with that with many products, because with many products I understand they have to seal the battery in to get decent battery life. And if you're using it all the time and using it to make money, like a wireless system, those Sennheiser wireless systems, I can kind of understand maybe after a few years throwing that away and buying another one if it's for your professional use and it's like a tax deduction, these kind of things. But if you're going to have to do that as someone that plays for a hobby or something, or even professionally, like whatever, like the fact you have to throw the whole thing away, if you throw a few of those away, at that point, you could have just bought an amp or something, right? So that's how I think about stuff. The whole thing, like for the money, I know it's important to get a good deal, but I also feel like that's not an excuse. I don't want a load of stuff in the apartment that I don't use because I just felt it was good for the price. I got that used. I got that on sale. That thing was really cheap. I did really great, but I never use it. I want to have a few things that I use all the time, ideally, right? Okay, we've got a question. Very good. Let me just have some water because I've been ranting a lot today. All right. Real thing. I'm coming to you next. Have you used any of the Legato brand wireless for connecting guitar mic sound to systems? So I did get I was sent a Legato to review and I didn't review. So here's a good example. I was sent the Legato to review and I didn't review it because it was either didn't sound good enough to me or it dropped out. I actually can't remember now. I've had a lot of the wireless things sent to me to review and they've not been any good. So that's why I see it's just so difficult. It's like, am I going to make 10 videos about wireless systems that you shouldn't buy? I don't know, maybe I should. But that's why I chose to make a video instead. You'll see it if you go back on my channel. I chose to make a video, the 2 best wireless systems on Amazon right now. That's the video that I made. And I spoke about the Shure system, which I'd used for a long time, is more expensive, but it's an excellent system that a lot of my friends use. And then I spoke about the cheap system that I found was about $70 that everyone was buying. It doesn't sound perfect, like in the high end, but it works with multiple pickups very well, never lost connection. And that, again, talking about for the money, that was a great purchase. And then the Sennheiser system, which I absolutely love, and for me is the best system, but one of mine did recently die and they wouldn't replace it, so I had to buy another one. That's not ideal, but I do think it's a system that's worth buying anyway because it's so good. So that's why I made a video talking about those 3 systems, because rather than make like 50 videos of crappy wireless systems, I'm just going to tell people the actual information that I want to give. And the information I want to give is, look at these ones. I've done the research. I've gone through all the stuff. These are the ones you need to check out, in my opinion. Having said that, I still see people on the Acoustic Guitar Forum talking about those other systems and how much they love them. So some of this is location dependent. And that's also why I'm hesitant to say that sucks. You can't say with the wireless system something sucks, because there might be a system that works great for me based on who lives around me and what systems are being used, and you based on who your neighbors are and what your Wi-Fi situation is. You know, it's very different living in an apartment in New York to living out in Ohio in a field where there's no Wi-Fi traffic. And in New York, you might just have traffic everywhere. So that's why I'm a bit cautious for those videos. And I've seen other channels just get full of videos about, junky stuff. And I don't want that. So that's why I haven't reviewed some of those things. Basically, if there's something you think looks cool, I've probably tried this. I'm serious now. I've probably tried some things, and if I haven't spoke about it, then I think the thing with my channel is, if I say something, if I say I really like something, then I really, really think highly of that thing, because I've tried so many things, and that if I think that one is good, then it's got to mean something. I might sound like I'm blowing my own horn. I'm really not. That's just the reality of it. I've tried a lot of stuff, so I feel like I know now if something impresses me, that it's the real deal. Rob, yeah, good to see you, Rob. Real Ting says, Aaron says, why has no one mentioned the noise issue? Also, I wanted to send it back and I'll make the video. Yeah, because, but this is the whole question. It's like, my first thought is, I'm crazy, or it's me, or I'm doing something wrong. And that has happened before as well. I have used things wrong in the past, and thank goodness I didn't make that video, because then I look stupid, right? So there is that element to it. But also, I'm asking people that are watching today, do you think I should make a video about something where I'm like, I know you're talking about this product right now. Everyone's talking about this product right now. So here's what I think about it. And by the way, there's a couple of things you might want to hear about this that I didn't like. I don't know. Is that negative? Is that the kind of content that people want? Or do they just want to see constructive, if you do a gig, like I was going to make one on sound hole covers. I really believe lately that sound hole covers are very important for your acoustic guitar when you perform. Now, some people will tell me I'm completely wrong, and that's a load of rubbish, and you shouldn't use them, and they don't want to use them. But I really believe strongly that it's up my game as a performer to use a sound hole cover. It sounds crazy, but it's something that has improved my workflow, and therefore I really want to talk about it in a video, because it might help somebody else, and it's something that is genuinely making my life better. Talking about noise from some amplifier that I'm not going to use again doesn't seem like it's going to make my life any better, but maybe it will help someone. I don't know. Maybe it won't, because you can just return stuff on Amazon anyway. So I don't know if it's even worth making the video. And we also have the live stream, of course, where like Rob is asking about Legato, and I can say, well, the Legato that I used, I didn't gel with. So check out the other videos on my channel. So there's that element as well. So you could review it and say, this is great about it. I found this niggle. It may not bother everyone, but if Nuix fixed it, it'd be perfect. Yeah, that's probably what I should say. I agree with that. So here's the good, here's the bad. Here's something that bothered me, but may or may not bother you. But if they were to find a way to improve that in a future release, it would be like the perfect product, in my opinion. But as it is, I can't give it a 10 out of 10 because of that reason. I think with reviews, we need a better system. Rather than just talk about the product and to say, this is a good product, go and use my link below. I think we need to say it does this, it does this, it does this, and I like this, I didn't like this in my use case. And again, I'd like to finish those reviews with, would I buy it? Again, if I lost this, so I bought this one now, I can't return this. I bought it from Reverb, from a seller overseas. All right, and I guess technically there's not a problem with it, so I can't return it, but I could finish the review with, would I buy it again if I lost it? And I'd have to say, based on how it is right now, I probably would not, because of that noise. If it didn't make that noise, I'd probably buy 10 of them tomorrow, you know, because it's that good. It really is very good. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Following you as a new owner of the JBL Mark II. Very cool. Very cool. Hoping you're able to get us more info from your JBL connection. What info do you want to know, Rob? I know nothing. I don't know very much. All I know is that the app is much more stable now than it was when they first released the product, which is excellent. And the current app for that product, the Mark II, is going to be also used for the JBL Compact in a few months' time, which is great news for anyone that owns a JBL Compact. Yeah, that's it really. That's it. That's the thing about the new JBL speakers. They were done. Like when I made the announcement video last year, I tried them and I liked the hardware. I thought, okay, they sound good. They do everything they're supposed to do. The app wasn't that smooth, and they promised me that it was going to be fixed. But I then didn't talk about. Again, I didn't talk about the product until about a few weeks ago, because I didn't want to talk about something where I thought, well, the app isn't good enough for me. And again, I don't think it wasn't broken. It just wasn't polished enough for what I would want from it. And now it is. So now I'm like, yeah, they're good. They're worth checking out. I still want to compare them to the other units. I hear a lot of people talking about the Evolve 30M and the Bose Pro 16. I still want to go into a big room and do a comparison between all three of them. And you know what I'd love to do? This is the kind of video I want to do. I want to grab some people that are not musicians, and I want to go into a big room and have all three systems and play a set through each one and give them a piece of paper and say, right, which one sounded the best? That's the kind of video I'd like to make. And then at the end of the video say, this is the results. So everyone preferred this one, or it was a tie, whatever. I think that'd be great research. And then also, I don't want to sit on the fence. I would then say which one I thought was the best as well. So obviously the features are going to be different. The features of the JBL are excellent, but I feel like with most speaker systems, the sound is always the most important thing. That can be subjective because that can be dialed in differently. But I really think when I watch a video, I want the person's thoughts. I don't want just to see a demo. I'm talking out loud now, by the way. This is just normally I do this off camera, not talk to myself, but think this through as I'm going for a walk. Mondays I just do it on camera, but it's good to get people's opinions on this too. But you know, how good would that be to actually use the thing and then ask people, what do you think? And then people that don't even play guitar, because you know what musicians are like. Musicians are very critical of the music and the frequencies, and I just want to say to someone, which one do you think sound the best? Oh, I think that one on the left sound the best. Okay, and then finish the video with, that's what they thought, this is what I thought. Did they all meet up together? Yes or no? Just I think it'd be an interesting video. It still doesn't mean that the real Ting or Rob would agree. It doesn't mean if they then came and used them the next day, they would agree with me. They might go a completely different direction. And that's not me trying to, get out of my opinions. It's just the truth. We all, like, if there's some products that Real Ting swears by that I don't like, and there's some products that I swear by that he doesn't like. So that's just the reality. But I think the videos can be much better researched when you watch them and you get those opinions from people rather than just talking about what the features are and things like that. So I'm a complete hypocrite because I haven't made that video and I've only done the feature videos for the JBL. But that is something that I'd like to do. I just don't have the other systems and I don't have a space to do it in, because the room I'm in here is not good for PA system reviews, as you could imagine, right? You see, here we go. Rob says, thanks for your thoughts. I feel like the Legato has been solid, both for mic and guitar. I'd also have a Shure Wireless, but it needs power on the receiver. Yes, the Shure Wireless does need power. It does need power. I like the ones that don't need power because they're more portable and they're faster to set up. But there's a great example, Rob. You're saying that the Legato systems have worked fine for you, right? But they didn't work for me at all. So that's the thing. But it'd be really interesting to know where you use them and where you live. Because I really think with wireless, it's all to do with your environment. If I go on the computer now and load up my list of available wireless networks in my area, there's going to be like 50 of them. And that's just the wireless networks. Then you've got to think about lights and ovens and refrigerators and cell phones and airplanes. And when you factor all that into something that's using a connection which only costs, under $100, the chances of that working reliably, I think, are much reduced. So that's why these things are always just my own experience and my own thoughts and comments. And why I do try to go on other people's videos and see what they're saying to see if it ties in with me. And if I hear some weird noise, I'll go on other people's videos and amplify the soundtrack and see if I can hear that same thing on their video. And usually I do, So I'm sure you're aware of that. This is the point of a YouTube channel, is to give your personal experiences and opinions. I guess the downside can be that sometimes that's I don't want to say people don't say the truth, but sometimes you don't see the things that you then pick up on when you buy something. So here we go, right? I'm glad you're here today, Rob. You see, good point about location. We're in the middle of nowhere. There you go. I really believe the cheapest, worst wireless system in the world will work reliably in the middle of a field with no one in it, because there's nothing for it to compete against. The minute you have any kind of cell phones and wireless in the vicinity, so in the minute you're in a city, it's a completely different story. And there was one venue I did a few years ago where I took one of the wireless Shure analog systems, the like $1,000 big one, and that was the only thing I could use that worked reliably, simply because it was the old analog, not analog, but I mean, not these new 2.4s. That was the reason why it worked. It was using different bands, which maybe now you're not even supposed to use them anymore. I don't know, but that worked reliably. But the other ones just couldn't be trusted. But again, the Sennheiser ones do work. There was one gig, I think, in a year where it cut out briefly, and that was it. So that's fine. But yeah, then again, any wireless can cut out at any time. So be very careful with wireless. I say to people, if you don't need wireless, don't use it. Why would you use it if you don't need it? There's another thing that used to happen to me at weddings. So when you have your microphone and you put the wireless bug on the end and you give it to people, see, they work great. But you know what people do? They put their hand over the transmitter like this, and it cuts out. And then you get these dirty looks. Why is it cutting out? What's wrong with your system? Well, you need to take your hand off the transmitter. A transmitter can't transmit through your hand, sir. That's not really what happened, but I'm just making a point. So I'm like, what do? Do I put a big piece of red tape on there saying do not touch this part of the microphone? And isn't that kind of rude? Put like metal spikes on there or something so they can't touch that part of the mic. Personally, if I'm watching a review, I would rather know what I'm getting into when I buy something. Very often the downsides are things that I can work around anyway, but I'd rather be aware. Yeah, I really think what I found with that is a bit of a deal breaker, and I really think I have to mention it. And I think it's worth making the video because I think it's a great product. I think they've made a product with this which is clearly much more for the money than this one, than the Fender, and is actually very innovative as well. Like the fact you can load IRs and use it to stream music from anywhere is exciting. It's an exciting product, and that little thing there is just enough to, to spoil it for me. But that's something that I'm sure could be fixed in a revision, right? I know lots of people that watch reviews for entertainment, but I generally seek them out when I'm considering a purchase. So guys, reviews that ignore problems are not helpful. Yeah. But that's the thing. Reviews have become entertainment as well. So we're going to get... I could make a whole channel based around like, oh, this thing's so annoying because it makes this. Oh, 10 things you can do with the interference I get from this. You know, I could like use it to censor swear words and things. So you can do all these wacky, way out, crazy videos now, right? And people will watch them and they're funny. But are they really going to help anybody? That's what I'm trying to get my head around. But of course, it's entertainment as well, right? I get that too. How far are you from the PRS factory? Oh, you want to talk about the Rocky? You want to talk about the Rocky? Let me just ban this dating site. We don't need a dating site here. Just give me a second, make sure I press the right button and then put it on the screen. Okay. So. Oh, thank you, Rosanna. You see? I saw you deleted that, but I banned them. When you get those ones, Rosanna, you can just ban them from the channel. So the rocket. So did you hear about this? I thought this was a really interesting thing. Do you want to talk about this for a few minutes? I actually was going to get one. I don't think it's worth it anymore. Let me show you what happened for anyone that's interested here. For this, I need to take you over to Google. So last week, Fender announced the Rocky Strat. Now there was a George, after the Beatles documentary, which is awesome. I hope you watched it. They re-released again the Rosewood Telecaster for George Harrison. And then that sold so well, they've now released the Rocky Strat. Now, if you do know what the Rocky Stratocaster is, if you do, then let me know in the chat. And if for those that don't know what the Rocky Strat is, I'm going to show it on the screen. I'm just trying to find it. So this is a guitar that was purchased by George Harrison. He then painted it. And over the years, they've released versions of it, including a master built, I believe, if not custom shop, if not both, which was incredibly, incredibly expensive. All right. Now, this week, they announced this one. And I've learned my lesson with limited edition guitars. I have a few limited edition guitars that I've kind of got as both a player and a collector. I think the fact that I sold the John Mayer and regret it to this day has made me want to have a few collectible guitars. So when I saw this for $2,000, I thought, oh, let me show it to you here. The first thing I thought was, okay, let's just take a step back here. The first thing I thought was, I'm never going to play this at a gig. And most people have said that about the guitar, right? They're not going to use it. So I totally get that, right? This is obviously George Harrison's custom painted Strat. But the story of this Strat is it was Sonic Blue. And he sent Mel Evans out, him and John sent out Mel Evans to buy these when the Strat was basically a new thing, right? They're like, hey, go and get some of those Fender Stratocasters. So Mel Evans went out and he bought the Sonic Blue Strat. And this is one of the reasons why I always wanted a Sonic Blue Stratocaster, because of the Beatles connection. So what Harrison did later on is he decided, I don't want this boring old blue Stratocaster. I want to paint it. So he went out and he bought these paints, right? And he painted the guitar. So I'm sure you've seen this, George Harrison playing this guitar. So I saw this the other day and they had them available at Fender. And I bought a couple of guitars directly from Fender and they've been great. In fact, my favorite Strat that I got direct from Fender actually arrived with a mark in the fretboard, which my tech got out very easily, just steamed it out a little bit. I kind of sanded it out a little bit and you don't really see it anymore unless you really look for it. But it's an amazing guitar. I love it. One of my favorite guitars ever. And it's really light. The Strats are not as light as mine anymore. The ones I've seen at Sweetwater anyway. So I love that guitar. And that came directly from Fender a couple of years ago. So when I saw this and it was said available, and I thought, well, I should buy one because they're available, basically, and it's $2,000. And I thought, yeah, $2,000 for I thought it must be American Strat, right? So I thought $2,000 for an American Stratocaster that's been painted as a tribute to George Harrison. But the first thing is I couldn't find out how many were being made. So I thought, well, hang on, is this going to be a production model? And I thought to myself, no, it can't be. They won't keep making these. I mean, it must be really a real pain and a real hassle to keep making these guitars, right? So I thought I probably should buy one. And I thought, nah. You know what? It sounds like they're going to keep making them. I won't. And then as the day went on, they all sold out. So I then regretted not grabbing one because I then realized they are limited. Some people are saying 250 and some people are saying 1,000. So there we go. I'm sure they'll make a run of these again somehow. They find a way to keep bringing back these guitars because they know they'll sell. But these are now, they sold out instantly, right? But I think for me, the annoying thing, if I can be critical about this release, is that it's not an American Strat. Now I got no problem with where this is made. One of my favorite Telecasters I have is a Mexican-made Telecaster, right? It's a really great guitar. I've done a few mods to it, but it's a great guitar. But I just thought it was a little bit misleading. No, is misleading the right word? I don't know what the word is, but it doesn't say anywhere where it's made. And actually, maybe 2,000 for a Mexican-made Stratocaster is on the higher side because you can get an American Pro 2 for 1,800. I guess you're paying more, as always, for the artist model. And obviously with this guitar, you're paying a lot more for the paint job. These paint jobs are all done by hand. So I thought maybe this was printed on and it was going to be an American release and a standard release. But now I think about it, I was crazy because why would they make this a standard release? It's very eye-catching might be the wrong word, but you know, it obviously wasn't going to be a standard release. And all I see now is people saying how hideous it is and how they would never play it at their gig, and it's only good for a George Harrison fan. So I know, it's a very controversial guitar, but it's still a very iconic guitar from the Beatles perspective. So I really want to try one. I want to try one because, like I said, I got no problem where my Strat is made as long as it's a good Strat, okay? And I've played some really good, some of the Player guitars that came out I think a year ago. I played one of those at Guitar Center, and I thought it was excellent, really excellent. It really blew me away. I think I preferred it more than the Ultra that I played. So that doesn't really bother me. I think the price is in line. I think they probably could have charged more. Some artist guitars now are going for 5 times this amount, as you'll find out next month with the Noel Gallagher Gibson. But I guess what you're really paying for here is the finish, right? Is the paint job. So let me know what you think in the chat. Did anyone order one of these guitars? I would love to hear about it. So to answer your question, if one is available, maybe. But it would be as a Beatles fan and a collectible guitar. It would be a collectible guitar that I'm not going to say I'll buy it as an investment. I'm not looking to buy guitars and flip them or anything like that. But it would be, and also it wouldn't even be to make videos about it. You know, it would. I mean, I guess I would make videos about it, but it would really just be to have that collectible guitar. And I don't think, now I'm looking at it right now, I don't think it's a guitar that I want to have, you know, I mean, I would love to have like the John Mayer Strat over this, for example. I've been looking for a mint condition John Mayer Strat. I can't find one. Again, never should have sold the 1 or 2 that I had back in the day. That was a big mistake. All right. Rob says, my biggest selling point for the JBL was the battery. Our first use case was a wedding outdoors by the bay. That's such a great use for it. I mean, I got to tell you a funny story as well, Rob. I had a gig just after lockdown. I wasn't in gig mode like I normally am. And I showed up to a venue without the IEC, or in England they say kettle lead. I showed up without the power cable. If I'd had the battery version and not the PRX1 version, I could have just ran it from battery and got through the gig. And I didn't. And it was so silly. Turned out they actually had the cable. They said they didn't have a cable. They brought me out a little square Mackie and it had the cable. So I just used that cable for the PRX1. Now, something I've thought about doing lately is getting a drawstring bag or a small backpack, putting in there a long jack cable, a long XLR cable, a set of strings, a long IEC power cable, a spare microphone, and some picks, and whatever else you might want, tie it up and stick it under the back of the car and leave it in the car at all times. And I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to do that. I think that's a really good idea to do. Mike says, I've got the Legato for guitar acoustic. Okay. Now, I mean, the other thing with some of those systems is, And again, I don't want to say this because I might ruin someone's product for them. But it's also a good idea to record these things. If you're fussy like me and do a channel, I like to record things in Logic Direct and listen back to noise and also EQ match to see if there's any change in frequencies. Now you might prefer, let's say wireless system does change the frequencies, you might prefer that sound, but you might not. And I noticed with some systems they added hiss, like the X5 system. I like X5, nice company, but their system added more hiss than other systems. I didn't like that. The Line 6, one of their systems, before cable tone was selectable, diminished the high end. I didn't like that. So there's those things that can happen as well. A few weeks ago, I went on this crazy thing of measuring the latency in all my pedals and devices. And I kind of got to the end of thinking, well, you know what? None of this really matters. But with the Rodecaster, it did matter. But with everything else, it's like, you don't really feel it, so what does it matter? But with some of the wireless systems, I do hear added noise and things like that. And lately, I'm using these in-ears for a lot of my shows. So this stuff is really important to me. That's the other thing. A little bit of hiss through an analog amp at a band gig is one thing. But in-ears that are connected directly into your ears, and any kind of added noise and hiss and humming through these is going to be right here. So to me, that makes that more important as well. Rob says, I'm still bringing the cables and have backup equipment for it. Yeah, but that's important. I never used to take backups for anything. These days I take 2 speakers, 2 guitars, 2 of every cable, 2 microphones. I had a microphone die the other week at a gig. Actually, they replaced the mic for me, gave me a brand new mic, but it died at a gig. But luckily I had another microphone. Thank goodness. With built-in rechargeables that seem to work fine for me in the living room and larger rooms and outdoors, I would like them to last longer. They seem about 2 hours. Yeah, that's the other thing. A lot of those systems I've found work for 4 hours for me, but some of my gigs are 4 hours. So that's also not ideal, is it? That's pushing it a bit. Two hours to me seems very short though, Mike. That's not good. The Sennheiser systems are 4 hours, and my XLR version cut out after 2 hours a few weeks ago, and I had to buy another one, which is very annoying. I actually bought the new one from Guitar Center so I could get that warranty. I know it's a terrible waste of money. You should never buy warranties, but I know I'm going to use it a lot. I know it's going to die again in 2 years, just after the warranty that comes with it expires, and I've just got this horrible feeling it's going to happen again. So at least I can get a replacement unit for that one. It's something that I use all the time, you know. But 2 hours wouldn't work for me. I need my wireless system to last at least for 4 hours, preferably 5, but at least 4 hours. And even that's a little bit scary for me. Oh, here we go. 2 runs of Rosewood. Oh, okay. So the Rosewood US Artist version, 2017 and 2022, sold out real quick. So and 100 master builds. Wow, but they were like 25K, right? So, let me know about the. Oh, okay. We got some information on this here. Does it say the number on that plaque on the back of the headstock? So you bought one of these. I want to hear about this. No, the number's not on there. That's a Grimwood sticker. So I think the price is actually fair because the hand-painted paintwork is probably $1,000 inlay. I agree. It's the same with Martin and the inlay. You know, the inlay takes longer than the building of the guitar. So I do agree with that. I bought a Rocky on Tuesday in person. Oh, so where did you buy it? The quality is very good. Awesome. If I was told it was a US made guitar, I wouldn't question it. Okay. Thank you. Now I want to buy one. I think they'll release another 1,000 in 2027. Oh, for Magical Mystery Tour. Cool. This will also follow the trend of what Fender done with the Rosewood Telly. It's interesting, isn't it? With many artist guitars, they're not allowed. Like Martin won't release more of the Mayer acoustics, sadly. But with Fender, they seem to find a way to keep re-releasing these limited editions a lot, regularly. So let me know. Let me know more of your thoughts. So where did you buy the Rocky, and were there any issues? Do you know the weight of it? because I was told they're quite on the heavy side. So many Strats now that are coming out are over £8, I've noticed. It's very hard to find a Fender Strat now which is under £7.5. So I'm assuming that those ones are going to be on the heavy side. But there we go. You know, it's not a total deal breaker, but I do like light guitars. He's on Facebook, you see. So Brad, did you know this? Are you still using Ecamm Live? The new Ecamm Live just came out as a beta version. You can now stream to Facebook and to YouTube at the same time. I'm sure you'll be happy if you're still doing that. If it's limited edition and there is a chance of making a few bob in a couple of years, then yes. If not, I wouldn't touch it with a it's horrendous. How dare you say it's horrendous? This is the Beatles we're talking about, Brad. How dare you say that? Hi, I'm late to stream. I'll watch the playback later. Oh yeah, no problem. You're welcome. I did that yesterday. I watched Pete Thorne's stream. I have this routine. You know, I'm usually gigging during the week. I'll get home from a gig, I'll make a cup of tea or coffee, and I'll sit on the couch and I'll just listen to someone's live stream in the background. I really enjoy doing that. Old Metal Dude says, you haven't done a show with Maury or Spoon Phillips in a while. Anything in the works with those guys? I love when you have those guys on. Yeah, I'm not doing shows with them anymore, Old Metal Dude, but I hope you'll still stick around and watch my content. I still plan to have some Martin stuff on the show, of course. I'm still a big Martin fan, but I'm going a different direction in regards to who I'm doing videos with, you know. Staley Explorer says also late. Well, you're late. You're so late. You have to pay. If you're late, you have to pay a late fee. You know that, Staley? Hope this finds you well. Yes, I'm doing well. Thank you, my friend. Lee says try and listen, but busy. Lee's always working so hard. I see recently he went to a show, so that's good. This dating chat site is back again. What is up with this? Brad says Facebook chat isn't working. Well, I think it is working, Brad, but I think you're not seeing everyone's comments. I think that the comments obviously don't go together. So when you do the restreaming, the Ecamm sees both comments, but the actual platforms themselves obviously don't reflect. They don't know what's going on. So like YouTube and Facebook are not talking to each other. Ecamm is basically sending the stream out to YouTube and to Facebook. And then when those messages are sent from those platforms, Ecamm will show them to me on my screen. But there's no way for YouTube to tell Facebook what's being said because they don't talk to each other. So that's completely normal. But I guess the idea is that I'm going to flash up on the screen the comments anyway, like I have with yours there. And then everyone will follow along and understand what's happening. Aaron, as you're using in-ear monitors now, you should use a hybrid cable. I do. I have an awesome one that I bought on reverb.com. Would you like to see a picture of it? Now, the one that I actually got is... the one that I actually bought, the jack is too fat for the Acoustasonic and the silent guitar. And it pops out of the guitar. Just make sure you can't see my reverb screen. I don't want you to see what I've been buying lately. Okay, we're good. So I'll throw this up on the screen. These jacks that he uses here, this is $75 and $10 shipping. $85. Very high quality cabling. Your Rocky is £7.11. I just know if I get one that's going to be £8.5. Look, this is what I got. So this is awesome. This is you're right. This is a great cable for many reasons. So first of all, it's a nice long cable and it's got the guitar plug and the headphone plug built in. So this is what you use when you have in-ear monitors. Now you'll notice that the plug, the male end that goes into my Voice Live 3 Extreme or my Play Acoustic is not detachable and therefore it doesn't plug in very well. So what I did is I went onto Amazon and bought an extender. And that extender is a few inches long. It's a female end that goes on the male end, and then that can go into the Voice Live 3 Extreme, and that's worked really well. So that's great. And then the other end that you plug into the guitar is a right angle plug, and it has the female end there, which I plug my in-ears into. So that works great. He's using very high quality cable. I believe it's Megami, and he's using very high quality connectors. The only problem with those connectors is they're fat. And the right angle one, obviously I don't want a right angle connector in my Strat, and the fat connector is popping out of some of my guitars. So I've asked him on my next one, I'm getting another one. It's so good, I'm getting a spare. And I've asked him on the spare to use a thinner connector on the guitar side so that it won't pop out of the jack, and also not be a right angle cable. It'll be a straight cable. Obviously, if you've got a guitar that takes the right angle cable, that is better. But I think the straight cable will be better for electrics and things like that. So this is Dan. I'll give him a shout out. Daniel's Gear Outlet on reverb.com. He's in Tampa, Florida. It's $75 and $10 shipping. I believe I may have made an offer for the first one, but then the second one was so good, and he's making it with a new connector for me, so I just bought it outright. So $85. You know, some of my Megami cables were $85 anyway, and this is a very cool cable. So it means you have one cable and you run your in-ears basically from that cable. But it's also really great because it's a thicker cable and it doesn't flap around as much. So some of those thin cables can really get, where I play at the restaurant, they can really get in my way. I find the slightly added weight and thickness of this cable means that it kind of sits better on the floor. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with it. So here we go. Here's a product that I'm really, really happy with. This cable. How boring, but it's a great cable. If you use in-ears, you're right. You should get one of those. Oh, you bought it from Pitbull. They don't collect sales tax for me either. Have they sold? Did you buy the last one? Like I said, I can't believe it's so light. There's some American Strats right now that are all over 8 pounds. I can't believe it's that weight. That's amazing. That's amazing. Oh, hang on. Have they got one? No, out of stock. Oh, darn it. I would have bought it right now. Okay. There's no ban option on my end. Just hide, delete, or put in timeout. Okay. I'll just put them in timeout then. Hey, Brad, I don't mind. You know, it makes me feel good. Have these extra numbers in the chat. As long as we can catch their spam on time, it's fine. Made in Mexico Rocky is £7.11. That's really, really impressive. Really cool. Is that with or without the tremolo arm as well? Because the tremolo arm adds a few ounces. Now, I asked him about this. I said, can I pull that jack loose or have it changed? He said, no. He said, I wouldn't do that. So that's why I just bought this small extension cable from Amazon. And it seems to work really great. I've had no issues with it. The Masterbuilt Rocky is £7. Well, have you got the Masterbuilt as well? Have you got the Masterbuilt Rocky and the Made in Mexico Rocky? You're killing me. You're killing me. Made in Mexico Rocky is great overall. The hard shell case is Chinese made. It looks like a G&G, sorry, but it's not. It would be good to replace with a real G&G. You know, some of my Fender cases are not that good. And here's a question for you. Why do the hard cases from Fender always have this weird hole in it? There's always like this hole, and I got two cases there, and I look at them and I think, there's a hole in that case. Like they drilled a hole by mistake. And I looked at my other case and it also had this hole. So I'm thinking, why? There must be some reason that Fender do that. Like tradition or something. I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to assume right now, if you look on Reverb, the Rocky Strats are going to be, if there are any available, they're going to be really expensive. Because unfortunately, everyone just buys everything now. And sells it on. I was looking at the Nebula Silver Sky on eBay today, but I'm not a fan. I didn't gel with those Silver Skies. I don't have any anymore. I like my Stratocasters, but there was a Nebula on eBay today. I was really tempted. Again, as a collectible guitar, they will only go up in price. They look awesome, the Nebulas, but I wouldn't want to play it. So then again, would you want to play the Rocky Strat? Because the Rocky Strat, if you play it and you scratch that paint off, is going to lose value, which is not going to be a great thing either. You see, look, the 2022. That's not the one they just released, is it? It can't be. So here's the Masterbuilt Strat, 26,000. All right, 25,000, 4,000. So this is I believe this is a USA made one. Be careful because there's also some that are made in tribute. They're not Fender at all. But I'm just thinking to myself, you know, it's kind of crazy how they just sold out. The Rocky Strats just sold out straight away. I heard from someone that one of them was over £8, so I'm not sure about that. Oh, you have both. That's awesome. Wow. Oh, okay. We can live through you. Without the tremolo arm, the Rocky comes in at 5 springs loading, and the tremolo decked, no backplate. Yes, I noticed that as well. There's no backplate and no screw holes, but the original guitar had the screw holes, right? So why did they leave those off? That's what I love about the Maya Strat. They left the screw holes off it. Really nice. I do have the Masterbuilt, couldn't I? But I'm guessing you got the Masterbuilt when it was first released. You didn't pay the reseller fees, right? You got it when you were one of the original customers. Like the original customer of the Nebula guitars paid $2,500, and now they want $7,500. Crazy. Okay, yes, please do, yeah. Oh, that's cool. I'd love to show that on the channel. I know, but that's the problem. That's the problem. People that hated the look of that guitar bought it immediately. As soon as I saw that on Fender they had them, I could have just bought 5 of them and then resold them at double the price. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to be a reseller. I'm not going to say I will never sell a guitar for profit. Of course I will. If I have a guitar that I bought and I need to sell it for some reason, of course I'm going to sell it at market value and get what it's worth. I'm not going to give it away. But to just buy them immediately, to just resell them at double the price is... Well, no, I'm not even going to say it's the wrong thing to do. I'm just going to say it's frustrating for people that today might want to have bought one and didn't. And that's why the minute I saw they had them at Fender, I almost clicked buy. But I couldn't justify it. I was like, nah, why am I doing that, you know? Having said that, I haven't seen anybody actually... I haven't seen one actually selling them yet myself. If you fall asleep, you can still breathe. No, it's not a big hole. It's like a little pinhole. It's really weird. Beards and banjos. You need to try playing a 12-pound banjo for a couple of hours. My left shoulder comes away 2 inches lower than my right. Are banjos really that heavy? Are they 12 pounds? I couldn't handle it. Here's me talking about the difference between 7 pounds and 8 pounds. You're saying the banjo is 12 pounds. I don't think Sweetwater sell banjos, do they? That's actually a really good question. Do Sweetwater sell banjos? Yes, they do. I just got to see this. I'm very curious to know what a banjo weighs. Oh, yeah, right. 9 pounds 9 ounces, 9 pounds 10 ounces, 9 pounds. So that's why I guess that's why I don't play the banjo then. Okay, moving on. There is no USA-made artist series, Rocky. Only the 100 Masterbuilt. Okay. So if it's not the 25 grand Masterbuilt, and that's because they only made 100, it's the made in Mexico. Now, hang on. One more question for you. The made in Mexico, they made 1,000, right? Not 100. They made 1,000. Or did they make 1,000 or 100? Because, again, I was so frustrating that day last week they announced them because no one said... No one said that it was the limited. No one said how many they made. No one said where they were made. There was none. It was just, hey, here's a Rocky Strat. You know, buy it or don't. It was. If I'd known there was 100, I would have bought one instantly. Then again, I guess everyone else would have done that as well. So, okay, the paint on the made in Mexico has a polyurethane coat on it, so it won't wet. Good. Okay, so I can use that at my local gig, my wedding gig. 1,000, yeah, that's what I thought. But it's still fairly limited, isn't it, for 1,000? And then tell me this: did you buy the rosewood telly as well? Wow, a bluegrass banjo with a full tone ring weighs 11 to 12 pounds. That's crazy. Well, the good news for today's stream is I've been on for an hour and 37 minutes, and we didn't have any, knock on wood, we had no technical issues, which is great. I'm just checking here. Yeah, I'm gonna see if this Silver Sky sold. I was following it. A mint condition, unused from Sweetwater when it first released, Nebula Silver Sky. $7,000 ends in 2 hours. Buy it now for $9,000. You know, I'm not going to buy it because I don't love the feel of the Silver Sky. If I did, I'd want it because that color looks amazing. And I don't think you'll ever see a brand new condition Nebula for $7,000. I think in a few years they're all going to be over $10,000. But it's still a lot of money to put into a guitar you're not actually going to want to play yourself, right? So, just a heads up for you guitar fans out there. If you want to go and buy it, if you buy it, let me know. I do have a Rosewood Telly. The master. Oh wow! No, this is awesome. I love it. So what does that weigh? Because after the Beatles movie, I was going to buy one from Musician's Friend. But go away, you bots. Go away, you bots. Ban, ban, ban. Done. The telly they had was actually just commissioned by Musician's Friend, and they weighed a lot. They were like 8.5 pounds to 9 pounds. They were heavy. And then because the Harrison one was chambered, so it was lighter. So I'd like to know what weight your master built Rosewood Telly. So you've got all the Beatles guitars. That's so cool. That's awesome. Have you got videos about these? I'd love to see them. Yeah, $7K for a Nebula is not bad. That's why I was tempted, but I don't have that cash. You know, there's a guitar coming out next month that I want to get. I'm not going to tell you what it is because there's only a few of them available. But I'm saving my money for that. But if I wasn't, if I liked the feel of the neck of the Silver Sky, I would definitely want to get that. And it's just going to go up because my Martin John Mayer, which was $7,000, they in that condition they now sell for 14 up to 24. So if that goes like that, then $7K for that is a good investment. Again, I'm not suggesting you invest in guitars, but if you really want a Nebula Silver Sky, that's a good one to check out. As long as it does check out, of course, because I don't know who's selling it. It's just I just saw it on eBay. All right. So I'm going to wrap things up. I've been going for a long time. So it was great today. I'm really glad I got to test this new beta version. I'm glad that we can now restream natively in Ecamm Live. If you don't use Ecamm Live, check it out. In the description below the video you've got here, I have my link to Ecamm Live, and you can try the free demo version of Ecamm Live, and then you can also try the beta version if you sign up as well. They give you access to the beta version. Normally I don't recommend betas, but with Ecamm Live, their betas seem pretty stable. If I was going live for a professional stream, I would not use the beta, but like today, I thought I'd risk it, and it seems very cool. I've gone live to Facebook and to YouTube as well at the same time, and it's all included in my plan. You have to have the professional plan, but it's all included, as well as a few other features like this, using the blur effect. So now I can add a little bit of blur to me, and I can get rid of some of my lines, you see, or I can just go full on blurry like that. How annoying would this be if all my videos were done like this? And I think they should have made it even more blurred, because now I could show you a guitar and not tell you what it is, and you would have to guess what it is. So like this, can you tell what guitar? Well, it's not blurry enough, is it? Because it's still very obvious what this guitar is. Oh dear. So yeah, but I appreciate your feedback today, and I will be reviewing some of these things that I mentioned about in the chat earlier. I will be making the review. Like I wasn't sure what to do, but I think what we discussed today is very good good thoughts. Like make the review, demo something, say if there's any niggles, say if they're deal breakers or not to me, and then if you think that's not a deal breaker to you, you can still go out and buy one and put in the comments that I was wrong, which is fine as well, right? So everyone have a good day. Oh, hang on. What? Masterbuilt Rosewood Telly is 8 pounds 9 ounces. Why is it so heavy? Is it not chambered? Is it not chambered? I thought they were like under £8, or am I wrong? I'm just looking here. I thought I took a picture of one. Do, do, do. Yeah, I thought those tellies were like just under £8, like seven, same as yours, Rocky Strat, like 7-11. I think I knew someone that bought one. I thought they told me theirs was £7.50, which was cool, but I don't know if it's chambered or not. Oh, George's wasn't chambered. Oh, yes, because I heard that he sold his because it was too heavy, and that's also why he didn't play the banjo. I'm just kidding. Okay, so the original Rosewood tellies were not chambered, and that's why they didn't catch on, because they were so heavy. I guess £8, 9 ounces isn't too bad for an unchambered Rosewood guitar then. But the ones that they released last year were chambered to make them lighter, so they're not actually like his original guitar at all then. Wow. This is fascinating stuff. I love this. I love these live streams because, you know, I get to tell you what I've been trying, and I also get to learn from you guys as well. It's awesome. So I didn't know that. That's really cool. Yeah, feel free to send me, maybe you can send me a little video. I'll play it on the stream next week if you want to. Maybe I'll have a Rocky Strat next week as well, or maybe I won't. Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard that George and, was it Hendrix, didn't want, or no, wasn't it Elvis? George and Hendrix maybe didn't like the Rosewood guitars because they were too heavy. That's what I read. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna wrap things up. I have to go and do attend to some things. So I'm not sure what happened this week. I might go live this week and try out this software again. I don't know. I'll try to post the review of the new X because I really do think this is an interesting product. Even if you don't end up buying one, it's worth knowing that companies are trying this new stuff. It's pretty cool what they're doing here. So yeah, I'll see. I tell you what, if one is available at the standard pricing and it's under £8, I would buy one. I would. Yeah. Now I know all that information, but I think they're all long gone. So we'll see. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. If it's not, it's not. Rosanna, thank you for moderating. I really needed you today with all these dating bots in the chat. So thanks for helping me stamp them out. And yeah, I'm not sure what's happening this week. I have gigs happening this week, and I'm going to try to do some of these videos in this new format then that we discussed, and we'll see how they go. I guess if it doesn't work out, I can always just delete it, right? So I'll try some stuff out, especially now I've got the new software. Should be cool. All right, everyone, take care, be well, enjoy those Rosewood Telecasters and those Rocky Strats. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. See ya.